picture from.
Texoma Exotics presents Not Another Reptile podcast.
Hello, everybody. Hello,
Hello.
to my amazing co-host, Mr. Tyler. Oh, right here, Mr. Tyler, Travis, and Jamie, or whichever way you are, right?
We'll work on that. We got to tighten that up a little bit, but it's okay.
You know me. I'm just all over the map. What's up, Sammy? Patrick, and Pete.
I don't know.
So, how's everybody's week gone this week?
It has been great.
Busy. Work is killing me. But it's better to have work than not have any.
Absolutely.
Right.
Hi,
Yep.
Jamie. Hey, James.
I'm on a 2-week break from school, so in between quarters. So I'm doing good, doing
You're on
full
vacation.
on everything down here. I know. Been like 8 hours worth of full cleaning, and I'm like halfway done, maybe. So it's getting annoying, but we'll get to it like by Friday.
Yeah. Hey, Stan, what's up, man?
I'm in my new snake room. I've got half my snakes up here, all the babies and juveniles, and they're over there. But this is my new podcasting area, and I've got a door so the dogs won't bark. And then we're buying new racks on Friday, and then all the snakes will be moved up here. We're going to move the adults up and directly into their new rack system. So, yeah, it'll be fun.
I love the way it looks. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty sharp.
Yeah.
So my dear has a Christmas hat on, Mom. That's Wesley's Christmas hat. It's on there. And the Christmas ornament you got for this year. Just making sure she knows that. Well, we have an amazing guest today. We have Peter from Garden State Pythons, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him out, and we can get this started.
Yeah.
Evening, everyone. Thanks for
Hey,
having me.
Peter, how's it going, man?
Good for having me.
So Travis is like, hey, being a new co-host and everything, I'm really rooting for my co-host to bring people on. He's like, bam, Peter. And I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. And he got you on, and I'm so excited.
That's right. I'm trying to impress everybody, so don't let me down, Pete.
Now,
I brought you on to say nice things about me. That's pretty much it. So
I mean, listen, as long as you just keep sending me those pictures, in our private messages, we're good.
let's clarify what those are for the broader audience. They're snake pictures.
Okay, I was going to say we got to keep this semi-PG. No, we don't. But this is
So Peter, if nobody knows you, could you go ahead and they should know you. I know you. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Peter from Garden State Pythons. I've been keeping ball pythons now for a little over 10 years. Kept tons of different reptiles when I was a kid, and I disappeared. Bye.
I'm trying to. Okay, there we go.
And there's Jamie.
there we go.
Kind of took a little break when probably in my early 20s, and then my early 30s just kind of was like, I'd like a reptile again, and kind of just thought a ball python was just a good small to, I guess, mid-sized python, and it seemed like there was a lot more morphs. I was pleasantly surprised to see, what the possibilities were as far as what I could purchase, what was in my price range now from what I saw when I was a kid. So yeah, it was just kind of the perfect fit. And been like I said, been keeping them for a little over 10 years now.
And you're in Ohio?
I am in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay.
Yep.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Yeah, and I'm whatever you saw on the Jersey Shore, it's not really what New Jersey is all about.
Good. I'm glad you cleared that up for us because that show is crazy.
Oh, so bad.
So you mainly work with the ball pythons or an array of things?
No, only ball pythons. I would like to at least branch out and get something as far as just a pet, something different. Maybe some type of smaller monitor species or maybe some type of larger colubrid species. I always was really fond of like the yellowtail caribos and stuff like that, you know, the king rats. So, you know, maybe down the road I'll do something like that.
Okay.
The extra large colubrids, those I like those as well. The cribos and the large rat snakes, those things are pretty insane.
Yeah, they always intrigued me. So I think just having something that moves around a little bit more is what is intriguing me. You know, obviously the ball pythons, you know, I love them, you know, but yeah, they kind of just chill a lot of the time. So
yeah,
someone would say that you want things that actually bite you because those snakes are definitely going to bite you at least a few times.
Yeah, I've seen it, especially the king rats seem to have a very good food response. But yeah, I feel like all those larger colubrids can be a little bit nippy. But yeah,
good people response too.
Yeah, I think, like in my opinion, I've had 2 colubrids. Colubrids in general just eat like crazy. So when you make them like 7 or 8 foot long, then you know you're in trouble. But
yeah, when I was a kid, I kept mainly colubrids like corn snakes and rat snakes. I kept I had one carpet python. But I mean, my corns and rats were so much fun. Like I've always fed frozen thawed, even when I was a kid. That's why I do it now. It just was kind of an easy transition, go from, you know, doing what I did as a kid to, you know, doing it now. But I had some animals where I would just, you know, take them out of their cage, hold them, literally just like choo-choo train in my hand. You know, they were like so just like chill, and I don't know, it was such a different snake. But yeah, you know, I think that would be fun to kind of go back to that.
100%.
That's neat. So I assume you're married, right?
I am married, yes.
Okay. Does your partner have anything to do with the reptiles? Do they help?
She, you know what, she's always been very supportive of my hobby, and I think more so once we made this a business, she's always been very good at, like, you know, taking care of, you know, like our taxes and you know doing the computer stuff. So yeah, it was just an easy, okay, well, I'll be, you know, our accountant and take care of that end of it. And yeah, so it's been a good fit that way. But she definitely loves coming in here and, you know, picking my brain. And, you know, she slowly has learned over the years different stuff. And I was able to go to Tinley for, you know, a week, and she took care of the snakes and made sure that she sprayed the ones that had a tag on them because she knew they were in shed. And not one snake had a bad shed, you know. Luckily, no eggs were laid while I was gone, so that was a good thing. But yeah, so she's definitely adjusted well to them.
What about kids? Do y'all have kids?
We don't have kids. Yeah, you know, I guess when we first started dating, the talk got brought up, and we just were kind of at a point in our life where it just wasn't on the radar. So we've been together 13 years now, and it's still not on the radar. So
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Exactly.
Y'all are doing yourself a favor.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I love my niece, I love my nephews, you know, but I love when they go back to my sister's house, and you know, and we have our dog, you know, we have the snakes, so there are kids, so yeah.
I think Sammy's here fishing for some votes, y'all, for the 15 minutes of lame. If you're into that, you can go vote for Sammy. All right.
I think Chris Eaton's right over here. Look, see, there's Chris Eaton right
there. He is.
Yeah.
There he is.
I'm glad you're the one-legged Chris Eaton.
Yeah. I call him, you know, Captain Pegger.
That's funny.
So, what are some of the projects you got back into when you got, came back into the snakes, and what are your big projects right now?
So yeah, so basically like my first like 7 years of keeping was just me keeping. I kept everything in Exoterras. I was just your typical pet keeper. But so I didn't really pay attention to the male and female stuff. I just got genes I wanted. I got, didn't really care what gender it was. So when I did start to think about things, luckily I did get a female clown. I had a female pied. So I kind of just thought, okay, well, where could I go with, the animals I had? So my first season was just pieds, and I was kind of shooting for some Batman stuff. I know it's kind of like, it's been there, done that. But I would love to make my own Batman combos. I just think they're beautiful combos. Why not make my own? Again, everything I make is for myself first. I'm not really following any trends, and I don't know. I guess I'll see in the next year or two of breeding, as far as the business side, how that affects me, good or bad. But either way, I think I'm still going to continue with like the Batman project as far as different combos. I really do want to get into some of like the hypo stuff too.
Yeah, that goes really well with the Batman. Hey, Nikki.
Yeah, I was a little late to the party with the hypo, but I have a decent girl I got from oh gosh, I can't think of their name right now, but I have a decent hypo girl, so she produced for me last season, so I have some babies from her I'm growing up, but this year I really want to start working on my double head stuff. I'd love to work on some clown hypo double head, and I think ultimately clown hypo and pied would be my main recessive as far as the recessive go down the road.
I think that's a smart play. I'm pretty big into the hypo clown pied stuff. I've got hopefully 2 clutches, 3 clutches, possibly next season or this coming season to make them. But yeah, pretty big in the hypo clown pied, and now working into the hypo clown pied shots this season for triples is going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, my first season when I only had 2 clutches, and like the first clutch was just like, okay, let me see if I can do this, and it was just pied to a banana pied. So I got 7 eggs, 7 babies, and yeah, that was I was able to make a little bit of something off those. I held back 2 babies. One girl I believe is going to lay for me hopefully in the next month or so. Nice. And then I have one other one that was kind of just a slow grower. But my second clutch was my pastel clown girl to my yellow belly leopard spot nose possible head clown. He didn't prove out. I mean, yes, he could always possibly be, and I just missed the odds. But I had, out of 6 eggs, I had 5 girls, so I just held back all 5 of those girls, and now they're ready to go. So they're all different combos. There's a little bit too much pastel in there, but I've realized that slowly over time I just need to, no matter how nice it is, get rid of it if it's got pastel, and just kind of slowly just whittle that out of there a little bit, like not all the time, but I think
so. I have a question for you. Is that just for the clown stuff, or do you not like it in pied or other things as well?
So, that's a good question. So, it's just the clown. Although I do think, and I'll take my clown out, I do think my pastel clown girl, she has stayed very yellow for her whole life. And yes, she kind of does go like through some phases, but I feel like she's not your typical browned out clown. And maybe it's the line of pastel I have in her. Even some of her hatch or her, her babies, I feel like there's like a little bit of yellowing to the head. I mean, and I know the one is like a pastel yellow belly leopard spot nose, but I have 2 of those I made my first season, and they do look slightly different, but they definitely both have pastel. I think they have both yellow belly in it. I'll take them out later. Unfortunately, one's in shed. I was like earlier, you have an hour to shed. She's shed in the hour. But the other one I'll show. She's got the more yellow. So I don't know.
Do you know what line of pastel it is?
I don't, unfortunately. She was like one of those pet animals that I bought in the beginning. I just wanted a clown, and they happen to have pastel clowns. I bought a pastel clown. So I have like 5 animals that I didn't really pay attention to who I got them from in the beginning. It was just bought as pets. I still have them. They'll always be here. 2 animals I'll never even breed. My first pet, my first pet was a lesser bumblebee. Had no clue about spider. Completely just in the dark, just, that newbie. Oh, it just looks really cool as a baby. And now he looks nothing like what he did as a baby. He's still cool, but he's got a little side head tilt, and he's got that cute little smile, but whatever.
I think we've all gone through that, though. I mean, honestly, when you're starting off, so my first one was a pastel fire yellow belly bongo. And she's beautiful, but I mean, I didn't know anything about the clown gene and all this other stuff. I was like, that's a pretty snake. She's a great price. I bought her from Bob Vu. That was that. I didn't even know who Bob Vu was. Yeah. So the more you get into it, the more you invest in better snakes.
Exactly.
The more
Speaking of Bob
snakes
Vu,
you'll make.
Yeah, he's the one who got me kind of thinking, because I joined his Patreon about 5 months back, like a little after Tinley, and realized that, after talking with him, he's like, listen, he's like, that animal you bought from me, if I knew what projects you were going to possibly put that to in the future, like let's say if you want to put that clown boy, it has butter in it. He's like, if you want to put that to a pied in the future to make double hets, that anything comes out with butter, you just want to get rid of that because you're going to make like snakes. And I was like, oh, like, because what the thing is like, in my opinion, yes, it sounds newbie, but if you're not working with that gene, you don't really pay attention to what it could potentially do. And at the time, I wasn't really buying it for the butter that was in it. I was buying it for that visual first, but it also had a bunch of genes, and it was a female maker banana boy that I could put towards animals in the future. So it was just, that combination. But it's just those thoughts. So like maybe no butter and pies, maybe no pastel and clowns. I'm just trying to refine my collection, and we all make those impulse buys in the beginning, and or maybe we were on a budget. I didn't always want to spend over $500 on an animal. There was a lot where I purposely kept myself from spending over a certain amount because they were just pets, or I was just getting my feet wet into the breeding thoughts. So I think over time you slowly realize, eventually you do have to do a little bit more. But you can make some cool stuff too if you just buy 1 or 2 animals, maybe season and kind of just level up slowly. So,
Yep. Hey, Tara, how's it going?
Genetics, if we go back to hypo, how much longevity do you guys think that gene has? You're talking about pastel. Pastel's obviously, past its prime, so to speak.
Yes.
What do you think of hypo? Obviously, you think there's some longevity because you're into it, right?
It's funny because I feel like all of a sudden hypo has gotten so much push, and it was like when I was just starting to breed, it was like DG, and everyone made you feel like you needed to buy DG, and now all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, hypo's the new DG, and the longevity of it, at age, I don't know. So I'm glad I never bought into the DG stuff. I wish I had more hypo. And I kind of think that I think in the long run, I don't know. I think it just does I feel like DG sometimes, with other combos, it starts to get a little bit pixely in a way. I don't know. I feel like there's just a smoother overall tone to the pattern with hypo stuff. In most cases, I don't know.
I love DG, y'all. I'm not going down that road.
I'll confess, I love pastel, but I didn't buy any because everybody that I talked to said, don't buy pastel.
Yeah.
So
it's a great
I see a lot of snakes that have it that I really like.
it's great in some things. I just don't like it in clown unless it's the Graziandi line. You know, it really depends on what lines you have. And I'm a firm believer in it. I mean, but yeah, that's neat. I do like hypo, but my hypo stuff I like in the Super OD project.
Yeah.
Because it does just take it next level. I really don't like it in the darker jeans, the dark colors, but anything light, it really does well with it.
Yeah.
I think Hypo and Desert Ghost are like very in the same vein for me, where I don't think there's going to be a time or a project where Hypo and Desert Ghost doesn't make it better. I think 15 years from now, like it's going to be almost hard pressed to find anything that's not Hypo or not Desert Ghost. And the sole reason for that is every single combo you put it in within reason makes it better. So the longevity of the project, it's always going to be there. Like there's specific things where it's like, okay, well, Monsoon doesn't work with this because it destroys pattern too much. Pastel doesn't work with this because it browns it out too much. Hypo and Desert Ghost, you put it to damn near anything, unless it's like albino complex stuff, it works. The price obviously is not going to stay the same. Like you've seen it with DG, and Hypo's pretty interesting because they've been damn near the same price since I started buying snakes 10 years ago. It's like a normal Hypo is the same exact price it was 10 years ago as it is now. It's just your higher end Hypo stuff. Like Hypo clowns 8 years ago were whatever, $5,000. Now they're like whatever, $1,000 to just get a straight Hypo clown female. But you know, your prices are going to go down, but the longevity of the project is always going to be there. I think it's that and Desert Ghost have better longevity, in my opinion, for breeders than Pied and Clown do.
At this point, absolutely.
Well, not like I think that for the pet market, Pied and albino and like lavender albino stuff is gonna dominate that literally forever. Like and bananas.
And bananas.
Selling pet animals, like those are gonna dominate the market forever and ever and ever. But for breeder quality stuff, Hypo and Desert Ghost are going to be there forever. Because like as much as I love Pied, it does kind of like take out some of the pattern to play with. And I have a ton of money in Pied stuff, but I'm just being real. And Clown is, again, 15 years from now, it takes away pattern to play with. But Hypo and Desert Ghost, all it does is make the colors and patterns already there better.
Yeah, I agree.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the price is going to change, but the Hypo and Desert Ghost are going to be around forever.
Now, the fact that you said that a simple Hypo is the same price it was today as it was when you got in, that's telling for me as far as, you know, the longevity is concerned.
Yeah, and I was having a really interesting conversation at St. Louis this weekend with Patrick from Aura Reptiles, formerly Chimera Reptiles, about like Desert Ghost project stuff and why like the pricing changed so much. And like everyone looks at it now, again, like Peter, when you were probably looking at Desert Ghost stuff, it was like Desert Ghost clowns were 12 or 15 grand. You couldn't get a hand on them. But in 2018, like people were buying Desert Ghost clowns for like $5,000. And then COVID hit and it shot their price up and their demand up like crazy. And they're just leveling back off. So like their price should be where it's at. And it's going to continue to go down. Every single project does that. But this is again the least amount of Desert Ghost and the least amount of Hypo stuff you'll see on the market ever. You'll see more of it tomorrow, more of it next year. It's not going away.
Right.
But again, that also too, like that's a case also where I think pastel is good in Hypo. Like and honestly, I made a vanilla Hypo, and I honestly feel like vanilla should replace the pastel if you do something with Hypo. You know, it does some really nice subtle stuff to it. It brightens it up, I feel like, a little bit more. So I'm interested to play with vanilla a little bit more rather than pastel. I got a vanilla fire clown boy. So so we'll see for the future on that. But
vanilla is underrated so bad. I love vanilla.
Yeah. I was so surprised what a vanilla fire clown looked like. I was just like, I was blown away. I was like, it's such a simple 3G animal, and it just whacked it out so much. And yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with some light, the light side on some boys. I have a lot of dark stuff that I've been working into some of my clown, and yeah, so that was one of the other boys I picked up at Tinley. I couldn't resist last day, and it had been there all weekend. And
Man, that's hard, isn't it? When it's been sitting there all weekend and you're just like, well, it hadn't moved yet. I think I can get it at a really good price.
Well, and I went up to him and I was kind of like, I feel bad. I'm like, I'm just going to say it. I'm like, would you take 100 off? And she's like, sure, no problem. I'm like,
Yeah.
Wow, that was easy. I'm like, thank you. I like, so
yeah. The vanilla projects, it's not even a project. The vanilla gene.
Yeah.
I think, again, looking forward, talk to people, like not get out of fire, but it's going to replace fire. It's going to replace like pastel because the super is so nice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people I know that are getting trapped in fire stuff where it's like, okay, like all these project animals have fire. So I can't put them together. I'll make white snakes. All these pastel, all my projects have pastel, so I can't do that. But vanilla and super vanilla stuff, like super vanilla is disgustingly good. I have a super vanilla het desert ghost female. Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's like, it's such a perfect genetic where the super is amazing. The allelic combos with fire, disco, all the other complex stuff in fire is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make a white snake. Like super discos, super fires, super sulfurs are all, like white snakes with some yellow stripes, but super vanilla.
No.
That keeps pattern and enhances color even more.
Yeah, actually, the other I heard Jose from Edge of Pandemic. He's into a lot of the super disco stuff, and he was talking about it the other day. And I saw some of his animals. I was blown away by what the super disco stuff does. I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like it's like almost like having a pied without it being a pied. In some cases with like how crazy it does the pattern. So. Yeah, there's so many genes. It's like I don't even know like how people don't just want to dabble in everything. But it took me a little while to kind of stop with that. My first year I started to dabble in too much, and I realized I can't do that. Like I'm a small operation here, so yeah, I don't know. I've toned it down. So
yeah,
it's hard to tone down your collection.
It is very much so.
I'm fixing to have to do the same thing, and it's just like, oh man, I thought I was on the right path, and I am on the right path, but I just have too much of one thing going in the right path.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So
no, I understand. I only have a 9-level rack. I have 4 levels of 70-30s, and then I have 5 levels of 55-40s on top of that. And then I have, my hatchling rack, which, most of the hatchlings can stay in there for maybe the first, year or so. Enough room to go from, hatch to a year later-ish. But yeah, I'll probably add like maybe one more of those. It's like 2 tubs per level, like 55-40 racks, and just like males in there, maybe like a couple smaller females, and then just females in this one over here. And that's it. Like right now I'm only at 28 animals total. One hatchling still available from last year, but she's a girl. So yeah, she's almost 1,000 grams already. If she doesn't sell, she doesn't sell.
Keep it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
we're gonna take a short break, y'all. For the sponsor video, and we'll come right back and talk about show vending.
Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. There are links in the bio or whatever you want to call it, video description. Hit them up, follow them. Peter, your stuff is on there too as well. I seen you didn't post a lot on Morph Market. I guess yours is all pretty much social media like mine, is what I'm assuming. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I only have one animal on there now. I'm pretty much I'm going into this will be my 4th season. I've pretty much been two clutches a year, so it hasn't been too much. I've just been kind of slow and steady, building for myself, having a few animals to sell. So I've been blessed enough to be able to find homes for all those animals. And but I kind of attribute that to just keeping it manageable and not having a ton of overstock. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
Becky.
and then on I do post occasionally on Instagram when I do have babies. I'll talk about it on my live that I do. I try to do like every other Sunday at noon EST on Instagram. So I might show off the hatchlings on there or make mention. So yeah.
Do you have anything you want to show off now that's for sale?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, we're all about that.
Just one girl. I believe she might just be a really bright het hypo, and she het hypo girl. She might have vanilla. I'm still kind of getting used to the whole IDing in some cases, but she does kind of have like a little bit of that butterfly head stamp that they talk about. But yeah, I don't know. But again, 100% head hypo, girl, and she at least, and possibly vanilla. But yeah, she's well started on frozen thawed. And I haven't weighed her, but I think my last posting, which was maybe a month ago on Morph Market when I updated her account, I think it was like right under 800 grams. So I feed her weekly, just like all my other animals. I don't sit here and go 2 weeks because I'm selling her. And so she's well fed and ready for a new home, or I'll keep her and I'll just keep feeding her and I'll move her up. But I only kept, so last season was a little strange because I moved a bunch of stuff around in my snake room. And I don't know if that messed with my animals, laying. Maybe they reabsorbed. But pretty much all of my clutches just didn't go except for one girl. So it was kind of like one of my fun clutches. I had 2 for fun clutches that I was just kind of too far in to not just go forward with. I raised them up. I figured why not. So one was just for some albinos with HRA. I do love the HRA gene. I want to do more with it in the future. And I figured the albinos are always good just as a selling point. Albinos, pieds, I figure, again, more local stuff if I found somebody. So I ended up hatching one HRA girl. So I have a boy HRA. So I figured I'd keep the girl and I'll test her out. I didn't hit. Oh, you're in shed. I didn't hit any albinos, so I don't know. Both the parents were supposed to be. So I got one HRA out of it, and I figured I might as well keep her. I don't have a female HRA, and I'd like to do some more. It's kind of a cool dark gene. And I'd like to add it into like the leopard and spot nose stuff, some of that in the future. So we'll see.
Okay. Are you vending any shows at this point?
I only co-vended once with somebody at the there's a show in Long Island they do. They've been doing it, I guess, for maybe a year or 2 now. And I co with somebody there. It was definitely a learning experience. I feel like everybody that day was kind of at a certain price point, and I wasn't at that price point. And very fast that if you're not at the price point, or maybe if you just don't have what people are looking for that day, you're not going to sell anything. So it was okay. I did get some nice compliments. I had like a pastel vanilla Enchi hypo girl. So like I had some nice stuff, some nice hypo stuff, but it didn't sell. But yeah, I think I'm still probably a couple years out. I'd
Yeah.
kind of be at least the maybe 6 to 8 clutches a year to be vending a few shows and kind of doing it properly. I don't want to just have 1 or 2 clutches up on my table. I kind of want to fill it out and do it a little bit nicer the first time. So
I feel you, man. I haven't vended a show yet either, and I feel the same way. I want to make sure I have all the proper tablecloths, everything from A to Z, because I don't feel like when you go to one of these really nice shows to show up with deli cups. It doesn't look good on your business, in my opinion, and I don't want to do that. So.
I agree. I mean, listen, to do even to do what Tyler does, I met Tyler at the White Plains show. Was the first time I met Tyler, I think, before the March Tinley. To do something like that where it's you're 2 tables long and you have all these levels, and you got your cocoa over here and you got your backdrop, and there's a lot that goes into it. I just don't think just a tablecloth and some whatever. You want to have that backdrop. You want to have something that catches people's eye and brings them over your table. I mean, Tyler's out so much, Yeah, so it's things like that you think about. Even my background. When I started doing my lives, I was like, all right, let me do up my wall and paint it green and get my logo up there and kind of put all my reptile related stuff up. And so yeah, I just think if you're gonna pay attention to detail in one way, you should in all ways. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, shows are work. The presentation's definitely key, and trust. I think the way that we kind of set up, if anyone's seen us at shows, is we got the banner. We throw it on a table so it's taller than literally everyone else's banner. And then we'll do the 4 cases and then deli cups. We still do deli cups, and pretty much everything in delis is half off, wholesale kind of stuff. Genetics I just don't need.
What I say is about Tyler is, yes, the first time I met Tyler, he tried to sell me KRG.
Yes, I did.
That's what Tyler does. He just tries to sell KRG. This first time you meet. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, trust me, I do. You know how many KRG questions I got at St. Louis?
I have some KRG, some single genes over here. If you want to take a look at those, and you're yeah, you talk that gene, but I always hear you talking about that gene, and that's why I brought that up, because I was he's been into KRG for a while, because I hear you talking about it all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I was happy at St. Louis. There was a lot of people. Hey, what is this? I've never seen that. What does that mean? What does that stand for? And I'm like, yes. It's all I want. I hit some really.
My wife was like, "Oh, HRA, hold on, but it's not a recessive." I'm like, "No." I'm like,
No,
"This
it's
is
not xanthic.
confusing." Yeah.
Absolutely.
But shows are fun. I think you gotta do it right. And then there's times, again, my setup's great, but take other stuff from other people's setups too. There's a lot of stuff I want to do to my setup that's just taken from other people's stuff. I want a new backdrop. I want different colors and other fun stuff too.
Right.
But I think you do need a good amount of animals. I always struggle with people who do show up with 6 animals. It's
yeah.
All right.
What do you usually bring, Tyler?
Usually minimum 40. I think I usually do, if I'm under 3 cases, I don't do a show. I think the most I've ever brought to a show was close to 100. I think
Lord.
Yeah.
And you're driving, right? Obviously, you're driving.
Yeah.
I mean,
No. His daddy drives. Don't leave him lie to you.
No. Yeah, I think our usual show count is 60 animals, and then early year, February, January shows, we'll probably have 100 animals there, and do our 4 cases, and then a table of delis, and then usually at the start of the year, last year was the first season I started like really selling adults and stuff. So I pretty much got like locked really like nice, like not sterilite, but like nice bins, 30 adults on a table. And it was like, bam, bam, bam. I sold 20 adults in 2 shows. And I was like, okay, perfect. I'm done.
Wow. That's amazing.
Are you vending this weekend?
I am not. I do not vend oaks anymore. I did it. Oaks is a funny story, but yeah, I don't do oaks anymore.
I've never been to that show, and I'm gonna go to it for the first time. I was like, yeah, you know what? It's this weekend. I might as well go. I haven't been to really a show in a few months, and so it'll be my first time. I figured why not? I'll get to meet Jeremy from Morphles will be there and all that crew.
He's the man.
Danny,
Yeah.
There's a ton of great people over there.
Yeah. Jamie, I believe this comment is pointed towards you right here.
It totally can be. Sammy messaged me on Instagram.
But yeah, the Oak Show, we did it once, sold nothing, and then we're like, okay, we won't do this again. We were in the area picking up rat racks, went back, and we were like, oh, we're early. Let's go to Oaks, just like check it out, hang out, have fun, say hi.
Yeah,
And it was loaded, like it was packed. Everyone was there. I asked vendors, hey, how's it going? It's good. We're selling. Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, shit, okay. We signed up for the next one, went back, sold nothing. I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Oh, well, you did the same thing in Dallas. I mean, you got to give it another shot, Tyler.
I give them like I use except for Dallas. Dallas, I'll do it once. I'll get back there in 2 years when everyone says it's an amazing show. But like Oaks is 3-4 hour drive, and it's like, I gotta get a hotel. We didn't sell anything. It's a very like. I don't know. Oaks didn't fit me for where I was. Maybe I'll do it again sometime, but it always also like runs into other things, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
whatever.
That sounds a lot like the Reptile show they just did here in Idaho Falls they did it on Mother's Day.
Yeah, idiots.
And the same weekend that the new farmers market opened. So they had, what was it? Mountain Man Constrictors was there.
Okay.
Was it Fireball Pythons, I believe? He was also there.
Okay.
And
Good one.
there's one other guy, I think a smaller breeder that might have been more local. They couldn't sell a normal for $50 there. And like Fireball Pythons had this humongous spread with like, I don't know how many snakes he had.
He always has a ton on more.
Yeah, there was a ton of snakes.
This year was my first year trying to sell some adults and kind of, I upgraded some animals, like I had a double head hypo, Ultramel boy, I made babies with him. I had all the babies tested and I kept back, a visual hypo, had Ultramel boy. So I had a few adults that I was moving, and I tell you, trying to move those was tough. I struggled with trying to move some adults, and I mean, I feel like my prices are reasonable, and nope. It just, I just kind of, hey, does this work for you? Will this work for your projects? And someone's like, yeah. I'm like, here you go. Give me $100 and you can have them both. Like, that was it. I needed to kind of move them on. It was the mouth that I was feeding, and I don't know. I don't know why it was such a struggle. I even did them on auctions too. Couple times and no success. So
somebody want to put Pete back on the big screen so I'm not staring at my ugly mug?
I can try.
Go for it, Jamie. I still haven't been promoted back to having any control. That's what happened. Holly left. I don't know what happened. So.
She'll be back. She might have to use the restroom.
Beautiful.
Do you want me to pull out a few animals? I can pull out a few.
Can you pull out that vanilla hypo, Pete?
The what was that?
That vanilla hypo?
Yeah, sure.
You want to
I think that one's really pretty.
No.
This is what Pete and I do all the time, by the way.
So this is a vanilla hypo, and just super bright. He's 100% head Ultramel. I got him tested with Charlie. I sent over all 7 sheds.
Oh, nice.
7 babies, and it was funny. All the males came back head Ultramel. Not one girl came back head Ultramel. So it is what it is, but I was able to upgrade the boy at least. But yeah, just super bright. I mean, there's just a lot of yellows and yeah.
He actually has like a greenish tint to him, doesn't he?
Yeah, I believe this is an orange ghost line. It's from John and Christine.
Tri-State or
Yes.
Triforce.
Triforce. Yeah, that's where I got my girl from. I believe they have the orange. So I don't know what the boy was. I mean, the boy could have had anything. I don't know how much it affects the hypo lines with.
Oh, close. There we go.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, all the lines of hypo. It's weird. Like they might be a little bit better, but I don't track the lines. I get a hypo. It's a hypo.
I mean, I have seen some like pretty like ugly single gene hypos on Morph Market that I'm almost like, is that hypo? Is that really hypo? Like, I don't know if I'd buy that, and like, I don't know, like I'd be annoyed if one day I just hatched out some hypos and they look like that. I'd be like, I want to return that. Mine's broken or something. So, but yeah, I mean, so that's kind of why I was saying earlier, like we were talking about the Dreamsicle stuff, and I was like, not being, that well versed in it, are there different lines that look a little bit nicer and, and I think it's the same thing with the hypo stuff. So,
100%.
Yeah, I take out Mom, but I think she's gonna probably be laying here the next couple weeks. I kind of had, so like because none of my girls really went this past season, I started pairing up at like the end of the summer, and I'm gonna probably have quite a few clutches, probably end of this year and beginning of next year already. So. Yeah, but yeah, he's just a nice boy to grow up and eventually get some. I really wanted to do the Ultra Glow stuff, and I'll do that down the road. The hypo Ultramel stuff, but yeah, he's the only het Ultramel boy I have. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Sammy, I will not be in White Plains this weekend. I canceled the White Plains show for this weekend, but I will be back at the next one.
Let's see here. I'll take out this girl.
I'll be showing out for the next one. I'll have 100 snakes at that show.
So this is one of my hatchlings from my first season. This is my pastel yellow belly leopard spot nose, 100% het clown.
I love leopard spot nose. It's really pretty.
But yeah, she's finally up to size, and I probably could have maybe done something last year, but again, I'm in really no rush. But yeah, they just have some great head stamps. That eye stripe is just, I just love that side there. So
yeah, that one's really good looking too.
Yeah, but you can't go wrong with leopard spot nose stuff. Like you said, like Batman's been done, but it's still freaking great. And then going off of base Batman stuff is the way to go. Putting like Batman hypo stuff. I've seen like one hypo Batman.
Yeah.
Like one. I don't even know if I've seen an Ultramel Batman yet, but I've seen a Monarch Batman.
I'm really slacking on my double head stuff and all that, so, but again, I've got time, I'm in no rush, and I've got some pretty good ingredients, I feel like, to make some nice animals, and whatever lines of stuff I have, I feel like it's come out pretty nice, and good bright lines, so yeah, so we'll see, but this will be hopefully a first year mom this year, so yeah.
Nice. And will that be the first one that you produced to lay eggs, or
technically the pied girl that's in the rack right now, she was from my first clutch. She'll be the first. This was my second clutch. They were both laid like about a month apart from each other. Okay. But my pied girl, yeah, she's probably already 2,500 grams, and yeah, she's a big girl, but yeah, that was the first clutch. This is the second one. So
nice. That just happened for me this season. It is a good feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm excited, and it'll be first visual clowns. Hopefully, I mean, I know it sounds so simple, but you know, I've made visual pies, made some visual hypos. You know, it'd be fun to make some cool visual pie or clown stuff this season, especially with, you know, the boy I got from Bob. I'll take him out. He's in shed, but you know, he's a banana butter and cheese red striped spot nose clown boy, female maker. So yeah, so like if I throw him in with like one of these girls, which I have 2 of, yeah, it should make some fun animals for the future. So, you know, some pretty cool Batman combos, and you know, I can make some scarecrows in there. You know, so yeah.
What is he again? I gotta write that down. What is he again?
He is a banana butter and cheese red striped spot nose clown.
And he's on his Instagram. It's one of the last couple pictures, or the most recent pictures. He's gorgeous. I was looking at your Instagram before this. He's beautiful.
Yeah, I just posted him. Yeah,
Spot.
I'll take out. No, the Vanilla Fire clown is nice too. I'll take them out.
That's a really nice male.
It's really pretty.
Red strip spot.
Yeah, the other one didn't shed yet, unfortunately.
Yellow belly.
And then moving the girls, that's a big deal. Like, that's why I'm only going to move my adults once and upstairs, and I haven't started pairing them yet. Hopefully that they'll still go this year coming up.
So this is just a Vanilla Fire clown. Like, I had never seen one, and I was just blown away.
That's beautiful.
Right? And if I mean, his head stamp is just, I mean, it's kind of little, like, it's a little washed out, but it's blown out on the camera. But yeah, it's just such a wacky pattern. I mean, it's just so weird that would have that combination and do that to a clown, you know? Like, I don't know. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm not big on the light snakes, but that one's really pretty.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't either. I was going like all dark, you know, the dark side as far as, you know, the Batman stuff and whatnot. And then I got to Tinley and I saw this light stuff and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going another direction too. But it'll still work with some of my double head. You know, I'd love to make clown pie stuff, you know, in the future. So, you know, stuff like this will work as far as, you know, that project as well.
You know,
Sammy wanted to know if you have any calico.
I do. I only have one calico girl. Again, she's one of the ones that I started to breed at the end of the summer. So I bred, which I could show him off, a Super OD pinstripe het pied boy to my super pastel lesser calico girl. And she's been bull wrapping all week, so I'm not going to mess with her.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so hopefully I'll have some calico, some light calico stuff. I did see I hope I'm saying it right, Lace Balls. I believe her name is Lacey. But she hatched out some like black pastel calico stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go to the dark side with calico now. So we'll see. I mean, again, this is just the bad cycle of ball python. You see something with another gene that you want to work with, and you're like, ooh, I want to go that route. So yeah, I do love calico though. I want to do more in the future for sure. So,
yeah, same here. I have calico in my collection.
let me grab it.
Yeah, I'm semi-light right now, but this season I sold my proven breeder calico stuff 2 seasons ago, so I had a season off of making calicos, and now my calico hatchlings are now breeder size. One thing back to like the light and the dark side stuff, that's a super important, in my opinion, piece to shows as well, is having the like stupid diversity.
Probably should.
You gotta have the super bright, super dark. Hides, clowns, bananas, all that stuff like makes your table stand out more too.
Right.
Now that snake's in shed and it's still pretty. Y'all need to check out his Instagram if you want to see pictures of him.
I know. Like once he sheds in the next couple days, I'll take a picture. I mean, he's just gotten so much better with age. I got him from Bob, and yeah, I mean he should be fun for some projects in the future. So, especially with the red stripe stuff. I really like what Red Stripe does with, you know, the yellow belly and spot nose stuff. So it'll be fun to get some of that into the banana as well.
Banana Pompeiis.
Exactly.
You're 2 genes away. 2 genes away.
Let's see. Let me see what the Yeah, so this is the dad to the Calico Clutch. So this is a super OD pinstripe het pied boy. He's a lot brighter in person, and the camera's kind of blowing him out. But yeah, I got him from.
He has a really reduced pattern. He's really cool.
Yeah, I got him from Matt and Jim at Ectothermic Dungeon. I've gotten a few animals from them. They're great guys. I met them, at White Plains and at a few other shows, and I've become friends with them over the years. So, just two nice guys. So, I have this boy from them. I have a pastel asphalt possible het pied from them. And then, a long time ago, probably 4 years ago, they were selling some Pos Het puzzle stuff. And I was just like, I don't know, two of those look really wacky. I hit them up. I was like, if I gave you $200, they're like, yeah, sure. I was like, all right. And they wanted a little bit more for each of them. So, I grew them up, and that's one of my kind of for fun projects. So they should be breeding this year, and we'll see. Maybe I'll get some puzzles. Maybe I won't. Maybe it was a waste of time. Maybe it isn't. But I figured, hey, it was worth it. I actually had Brett from Jersey Guy Balls over here about a week ago, and he looked at the two animals, and he said, that girl, she's going to prove out. He's like, the boy, you got 50-50. So we'll see. I'll probably still get them tested. And see what they are just for my own sake. But I'll still have a clutch with them. So we'll see.
Nice. Yeah, both of those people you just mentioned are great. Ectothermic and Brett, Jersey guys.
I'm a huge fan of Ectothermic Dungeon, and I actually got to meet them at a local show in Knoxville just a couple months ago, and it was super exciting. That was really cool.
When they told me they were moving, I was like, you guys.
I was so excited.
It was great, though. I'm at Tinley in March, and all of a sudden I hear Pete, and I turn around, and it's Jim. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's there with his wife. So, it's small world, but they're just, like I said, just nice guys, someone you could call and, hit up. And, there were a few times where, I just got on, a three-way phone call with the two of them, and just, they were helping me out. So, just two nice guys. Yep.
That's awesome. I was walking around the show. My son went there. It was right before Halloween, and he was wearing his big night suit that he's been saving up money, paid $300 or whatever to put this big night costume together. And he walked past Ectothermic Dungeon, and he took a picture and put it on his Instagram of my son standing behind his cases. And because it just matched, and they said they got knighted, and it was amazing. And so I was like a little fangirl a little bit. It was really cool.
Yeah, they have a cool logo for sure.
And it was nice because that was the first time I ever got to see Bang. He had Bang on his table at a local Knoxville show. A small show. It was amazing. It was so much fun.
They produce some nice animals for sure, and they just continue. It seems like since they moved, they even produce better stuff, and now I'm further away from them. So I'm like, oh,
I'm super close.
They
put him back.
They've been in it forever too. So.
And their adder stuff is amazing. I definitely am going to pick up some either this year or next year. Probably this year if I can talk Carl into it from them. Their adder stuff is nice.
Yeah,
it seems like Knoxville's like an epicenter for snake breeders.
So many. I'm very blessed to be here, but there's a lot of competition. But no, so many.
Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, and PA are giant.
So this is my big old clown girl, so my pastel clown. But you could see that yellow on her face, it's there in person. I don't know. She just got a lot more yellow, and
yeah, she's nice. She's not two-tone.
Yeah, she's just not just a solid brown. She's got a lot of tones to her, and But
she's a big girl.
Yeah. Yeah, she's again, I didn't even breed these girls until they were about 4 years old. So by the time I bred them for their first time, they were both, my pied girl and this girl were 2,600 grams. So they were already really big girls. And this year was the first year that I bred a girl I was like, okay, let me do 1,600. By the time she lays, she was about 1,800 or so. And she recovered fine, but the eggs were small. And the little HRA here came out, it was 55 grams, which is my smallest baby, ever. And it wasn't bad, but I've noticed the transition to frozen thawed has taken a little longer than babies that I hatched out at like 100 grams or so. So yeah, I mean, I'm in no rush, so I'll probably continue to be like 2,000 grams, maybe 1,800 before I start pairing. But that's just me. I mean, again, some of these animals are my pets. Like, I think about them like, God, what if I just overbreed them just because I want to pair them, So, yeah, I don't know. But again, teach their own.
Yeah,
Right.
we're waiting a long time for my one girl, my husband's favorite snake, Chloe. She's close to 2,000 grams yet, and I haven't bred her because part of me is just like, man, I can't. Like, what if it goes wrong? And that's his favorite snake. Now, I have all these snakes, but that's his baby, and so I'm very nervous to pair her.
I mean, like this girl here, like I've had her for so long. I mean, you can see she's just so chill, and yeah. I mean, this was like one of my original pets. My oldest boy I'll take out. I mean, he'll be 11 in February. I mean, it's crazy to think that I've almost had this. If I have a snake until I'm like for 20 years, like there's that possibility. Like these animals.
Yeah.
That long if you take care of them right, and you don't overfeed them, let's say, or feed them too big a prey. And I will say that the one thing I have started to do over the last probably year and a half is I feed all my males every 2 weeks. For a long time I was in that pet mentality of just feeding every week because feeling like I needed to, and I realized that the biggest thing is they don't need it. You're not doing anything wrong by doing it that way, and you have to be kind of cost efficient, especially once you get up to 30 plus animals, or more. So, yeah, that's the only change. And, other than that, but yeah.
Well, we're winding down the show, and I do have a question for you, and everybody can ask their final questions. What is the dumbest thing someone has said to you after they find out you're a snake breeder?
I don't know. I feel like they just say that like you're a weirdo or I feel like the biggest thing is the feeding and the rodents. Like people are like, oh my God, you have rodents like in a freezer in your basement, and then you like take them out and you feed them, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. And they're like, okay, like my parents. I actually just found out about 2 years ago. My father was deathly afraid of snakes. And when I was a kid, I had snakes in my bedroom all the time. And when he came over here, he never came in here. I never knew why. And when he finally did, he goes, "You realize I'm scared of snakes? Like I'm only want me to." But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I guess the feeding the rodents thing is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get a huh whenever I tell them that that's one of my hobbies. You do
Right.
what?
Anybody else have any more final cool questions that are fun?
Well, if I could promote myself for a minute,
Yeah.
on something I've been kind of.
Oh no, that's not allowed.
Oh, God. I've been making a lot of, like, when I first started, I made a lot of my own custom like hides and habitats and whatever. So I decided I kind of wanted to branch out with the business and have, like when I have some downtime, not having a ton of animals maybe. So I'm making custom hides. This one, for instance, comes with its own water dish on top. And yes, I did make this. And yes, it's very durable. If you drop it, though, and it breaks, I can't guarantee anything. But if you're careful and you treat it well, it'll last for a very long time.
Nice.
Water dish comes out, so if you want to use it, you can. Yeah, this is just the base coat. I do a base coat of black, and then I've actually, if you go to, so I don't know if you've seen Roxy's Reptile Den.
Yes.
She's just a very, passionate girl who's into the hobby, and I offered to send her a piece to try out. So if you go to her page and you look at some of her reels, you might see like a little hide that has like some flowers painted on it or something. And her one snake, his name is Sparrow. And so she has it in her cage, and she was kind of like my test person. And yeah, it's been doing really well for her. So, you know, I paint them more realistic. And so if it's something for the keeper side, if someone wants one, you know, this is another one, same thing. And what I do is I just use one of those plastic black ones, just so you have a nice smooth on the inside. But yeah, it's all built out, and you know, you can even buy them like this black, and you can paint them yourself and then clear coat it, and then it's good to go. So if your kids want something custom, you know, they could paint it themselves, and then you could just clear coat it and throw it in the snake's cage, and now your kid has a custom hide that they painted themselves. So
That's a really great idea.
yeah, thank you. So I'm gonna do them on a small scale. I'm making just a few as kind of like a demo, and then it'll be kind of like based on you know, I know you just order it as you go. I'm not gonna have a bunch right off the rip. I don't want to put a lot into it, but it's fun. It's something that I think I could kind of add to the shows. You know, everyone talks, you know, about you can't really have just ball pythons at your show. So maybe I can have some ball pythons and some custom hides as well. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Melinda. And also Eric, awesome dude. And Frank. How's it going, Frank?
We don't like
Tyler, do you have any final questions?
No, I think I'm good. Just thank you for hopping on tonight, man. It was great. It was great.
well, no,
How about you, Jamie?
I appreciate you guys.
No, I might get with you about those hides, because my son is wanting to put one of my first snakes that we made into his room and have it as a pet, and he's a little artist, so that's fantastic. I love that. So I'll probably get with you.
It's all pet safe. It's just acrylic paints, and then you just use a water-based polyurethane to clear it. I usually do about 6 coats of clear before I send it out or use it myself, and that's just to add longevity. And I kind of feel like the only thing I'd say is maybe over time, you know, maybe adding a new coat. You know, things kind of wear down, and you know, you're cleaning it, whatever. Yeah, it'll just add some more longevity to it. But yeah, it's been doing well for the girl Roxy, and you know, if you go to her page, you can check out what I'm talking about that I made for her, and she's really been enjoying it. So yeah.
Awesome. Now, Travis, last but not least.
Yeah, I don't have questions per se, because I talk with Pete on a regular basis, but I will say that I thought about him coming on to this podcast because I would consider him the nicest guy in ball pythons.
Oh, that's sweet.
When I first set up my Instagram, I don't think I even had any snakes yet. And I'd put, you know, aspiring breeder of ball pythons 2024 upstart. I sent him a follow request, and he followed me back, and he sent me a message. He's like, "Hey, are you new to this? Are you getting into breeding?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I want. I'm really interested in it and want to do something about it." And he sends me his number. He says, "Give me a call." And so we chatted. I think I called him, and we talked for, I don't know, hour, 2 hours. I don't know how long we chatted.
Yep.
And you know, he's just been a wealth of information. He's one of the guys that I always go to, and I'm like, "Hey, what do you think about this? What's going on here?" You know, he usually tells me that I'm being stupid, but that's good. You know, it's always sage advice, and I like the way that he manages his hobby / business. You know, he's very methodical, you know, very intentional with stuff. So I'm a Gemini, so I can go all over the place. Right, and do 15 different things. So, and I have ADHD, so that's the other issue. So he's like a little bit of an anchor for me, you know, along with you know, a lot of the folks in Shane's Patreon, and Shane included. So that's why I thought of him.
I feel like if we're not trying to give the next generation the best possible advice and help them to avoid whatever bad decisions we made, then we're no better than the next person. And I feel like I've been down that path where, you know, you feel like you need to follow certain people, or you think certain people have your best intention, or, you know, your best, their best intentions, and they don't, you know. So I just want to put my best foot forward. You know, I think, Brian wanted everyone to put their best foot forward in the hobby, and I'll continue to, live by Brian and what he wanted for the hobby and the person that he was. You know, and just wanted to just try to set him on a good path, you know, and hopefully I did.
Yep. Well, Peter, thank you for coming on tonight in your time. Travis, Tyler, Miss Jamie, thank you all very much for coming on. And we will be back again Saturday. And then I think next week we're going to take a Thanksgiving break. Zach will be coming on Wednesday. Parts on, he reached out for Husbandry Pro. So we're going to be talking Husbandry Pro stuff next week. And then that's right. Look at Tyler.
I need a shirt.
I have questions.
I need a shirt.
So awesome.
Yeah, and if you guys have time, I'm gonna have Travis on my my live on Sunday on Instagram at noon EST.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Alright.
like he's saying nice things about me. I figured I'd give some thanks and have a good guy like him on my show on Sunday. So he just
That's awesome.
chatting his ball python experience so far. So yeah,
Cool.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all again for coming on and your time, and we will see you next week.
thanks for having me.
Awesome.